Hello and welcome back to whatever it is I do here. Obviously, this isn't your typical intro from me. This is a voiceover because I anticipated these episodes being separate, but I had to chop up the last one and start from scratch here. So as you can see, right now we are on the electrical stage of everything as far as wiring up the airlift suspension. The rest of this video is strictly just going to consist of hooking everything up as far as all the harnesses to the compressor, etc. So this is it, and we're starting in 3, 2, 1, go! Just a quick update. So as of right now, as you saw yesterday, we wired through the back of the console here to hook up the controller. Just put this panel back on, and right up there you can see where the female and male end connect for the USB. And then I basically just tucked it behind the carpet. You see where that red wire is? That's actually not for my airlift, that's for my sound system. But following that red wire, it kind of goes up and around my pedals. I made sure nothing's going to be making contact. Tuck it down a little more just so I don't have any rubbing going on that wire, but pretty much routed it all the way back around and back under. Also, just be mindful you do have the LED strip on the kick panel here, so when you take this off, just be careful of that. Otherwise, going to the back, under the seat, and through the hatch. Next, I'm going to route this to the fuse panel. I took the fucking thing off. Why can't I think of it? I'm so tired. The little drawer thing here. I took it off to access the fuse panel in the back, and then I wired this through, so that's all ready to add into the fuse box. And luckily, we have an easy access point. As you can see, this is the power wire, if it fucking focuses. Okay, so you can see my power cord for my sound system going through the firewall right there. And that's kind of where we're headed with this guy. So I just used this pick tool and then electrical taped it to the main harness, and I'm going to try to feed that through. And this is the best part about having small hands, is this actually comes out back here, which you can't really see. Hold on. This is super tight because you got the brake reservoir here. So I'm going to be able to pull that right through and then right next to the battery. So also, the second harness, I'm actually going to have to avoid routing under the paneling on that side. It's going to have to come around under this side, and then I'm going to have to somehow maybe where there's some type of grommet back there to puncture through like there was on my Jetta. For the second compressor, at least I thought, or Matt also thought, that it was just gonna piggyback off of the other one, but it turns out that's not the case. It actually needs to come out to the front. So there's two relays, one for one compressor and the other has its own independent one, so we're gonna have to work with that. I'm gonna have a fun little bouquet of electrical wiring going on here. Alright, so just a quick update here. So my plan initially was to find a spot somewhere where the blower motor is here to access the firewall on this side. So I've come to find out there's really not any, unless I'm blind, prove me wrong, somebody. To me, there's no good access point that I can see where like a harness goes into it. Like this whole back wall here is all foam, and there's nothing that leads even relatively close to where I want to go through. What I think I'm actually going to have to do is I'm going to have to pull this panel here as well as on the other side, and then I'm just going to have to route it because, again, there's no more room, so I can't route both of these next to each other. I'm just going to have to route it through past the HVAC and then to the other side and then feed it through the same grommet. That's going to be a super tight fit because I was already struggling with my power cord being there for my subwoofer, and it's just not going to be a good time. Alright, so successfully got this over to the other side, and I'm gonna try my absolute best to get it through the same grommet I have everything else and its mother running through. So I have this and this running through, so I just really have to either like rip this grommet more or just stretch it. It's like in a really tight spot, so I'm trying to like film it at the same time, but it's super difficult. It's kind of where we're standing right now, and after that I just have no idea what I'm doing at that point. The back is coming along pretty good though. we're kind of running into a barricade here with where we're going to run the lines on this. One of my friends, I think I mentioned earlier, he said that he ran it straight through. He drilled holes in his flooring. So the compressors are actually going to sit like this instead of on the sides like we had initially had planned. But see where the spare tire is supposed to be, this whole lift comes down and divots, so there's a lot more room to work with if we were to put the compressors and just mount them right here instead of on the sides where it's higher up. Alright, so just a quick update. Taco Bell was purchased, and as you can see, it is completely dark out. Okay, I am tired. I have worked 6 days. Oh wait, no, we had Memorial Day. Okay, whatever. I worked 5 days this week. It's fine, in a row. But I have a lot of long hours. I've been up since 5? Yeah. Aside from that, on what's going on, so currently still doing some wiring stuff. I want to show you the back. We'll call it the innovative setup. I'm so tired, I can't think right now. So I have both harnesses kind of where we left off. So here's my harness for my second compressor where the HVAC is, and going into that same firewall hole up there. Almost ready to be hooked up to the battery, which is cool. If you remember, we routed this fuse wire through the fuse box here. So if you don't know, I was actually struggling because you take some force and it feels like you're gonna break something, but to drop this down, you have to squeeze the sides here and just give it some pretty good force, and then it does come off. So okay, so once you have that off, obviously you have access to your fuse box here. I'm sorry about the blurriness. It's this light is like, this is completely separate. This is actually for my subsystem. So it's really nice because they give you a pretty straightforward setup of like all the schematics and everything. It's really easy to follow, except if you don't know what you're doing like I was. So I stripped the end of the pink wire and then crimped this down. So you take the fuse thingamajigger piece. I know this is like, I told you, my shit's not professional, but this comes all included in all the electrical. They come with a bunch of terminals, butt connectors, and all that good stuff. So there's the purple fuse here. So once you're done crimping that, heat shrink it, which I haven't done yet, and then at the end of this, you're going to stick this metal piece in, crimp this down. That's obviously the diagram I'm following. And then the next thing to do is find a fuse. Alright, so right here is the fuse that we had tapped into. Actually, you'll see two wires here. One of these wires are to my subwoofer, and then the other one, which is the lighter pink one, is for the whole air ride system. So our ignition is in. You're supplied in the kit. This is the fuse that runs to it. You just have to find a fuse that is turning on with accessory. The 2x4 idea was a great idea until we realized that it wasn't gonna actually mount all four corners.
Sounds good, doesn't work
properly, so I actually measured out two other pieces of wood here and then screwed them down. That kind of leaves us with these guys. So he made little divots so it can actually be seated properly and stay flush to this wood. And that's how it's gonna look. Also the manifold, we've got it resting on a little block just so it's secure and it's in its corner and it's happy. All of the harness from the front to the back is underneath the panels, clipped down, and all the leftover slack was basically just gathered and just condensed into a straight line here with zip ties.
The next day.
Hey guys, it is currently Monday. I know. I got really tired on Saturday and I had a long drive home, so I just wanted to pack things up and finish everything up tonight. So I just got off work right now. I'm back at the shop and we're gonna finish a couple of things. Everything is set, like all of the harnesses and everything is run from the front of the car to the back. The only thing really is to hook everything up to the battery. Everything is already wired for that except the positive cables. They need to get spliced into. So that's basically all we have to really wrap up and finish. I just wanted to get everything out of the way tonight, so it is literally set to plug and play once we start taking the struts and shocks out and then putting in the new ones. I'm just waiting for Matt to get here right now and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. I want to go home as soon as I possibly can tonight because I don't want to be tired for work tomorrow, because I get really upset if I'm not like there and I'm mopey and tired and I just want to die. So let's get to it. Hey, voiceover Kayla is back in business. You will notice for a lot of segments for the remainder of this whole series that I will be voicing over a lot just because we were jamming out to music and I don't want copyright, etc, etc. There are some dogs. Cool. Okay, so a very important part of putting the fittings in is putting Teflon tape around so it does seal everything properly so no air escapes through the threads. Right now you can just see us really getting them down and dirty into the air tank. Wow, I will never be a commentator. Alright, and in these next clips you will see us working up front by the battery. Those are both of the harnesses that I routed up front for compressor number 1 and 2. You can see us crimping down both fuse pieces onto the positive wires, and at the end of those positive wires you're going to put your terminals, as well as putting terminals on the ground. As you can see, look at that. That's beautiful. That's a bouquet right there. Okay, so you got your air compressor number 1 positive, ground for 2, and positive for 2. Jeez, I can't talk. Alright, very nice. Oh, don't forget to cap that I'm just gonna cap the fuse. Okay, another important thing I wanted to go over, as you can see right here, the terminal leading to the positive cable here is split in half, so it's actually wedged in between. It's still making continuity, but if you know anything about Volkswagens, if you try taking that nut off, it does not fully come off all the way, so that is why that terminal is, in fact, split. So one of the things I'm really happy that we did was from the compressor to the end of the harness in the back, we actually used these quick connects, just some male and female ends, to create like an easier connect and disconnect type scenario instead of crimping them with the provided butt connectors that they give you inside of the kit. Oh, okay. Unbelievable! English! Alright, so that's going to conclude this will be episode 2 of the airlift series we have going on. So everything electrical wise is all set up. Obviously you just saw we have power to both compressors in the back. Heard those babies fire up. So, yeah, I am just really nervous as far as the lines go, because we're kind of unsure if we're going to be drilling straight into the trunk itself or if there's like some type of access through the wheel well or like a grommet to pop out, but we don't know that until we take the wheel liner back. To be continued. This Friday we're going to start tear down on everything, and hopefully, oh, by the way, if you remember my sway bar video, we're finally going to be putting that in again, so this time with the right bushings, since everything is going to be dropped, or we have to take the ball joint nuts off anyways, and we're gonna have to get an alignment twice if I have to do that sway bar down the road. Might as well get it done in one shot. So we're gonna drop the subframe as well and then install the sway bar, so you'll see that happening. That's essentially it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all the stuff with the things and the stuff. Meme of the week is gonna be right here, and that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.